2022, let's talk about the updated version of how to make $2,500 to $25,000 a month now, this year. The world's changed. I recorded a similar video years ago, but I want to give you kind of the update because I've been doing a lot of stuff. You've been doing a lot of stuff. The world's transformed, and there's still a pathway to doing $2,500 to $25,000 a month. But you need to understand, some of the stuff I've written here. I call it the 2022 formula. Some of the things. Now, some of these are timeless. Intelligent Investor, Benjamin Graham. This is going back 100 years almost. Some of the stuff that Elon Musk's done, that Ashley Vance talks about. And of course, The Millionaire Next Door. Some of this is timeless, but some of this is time sensitive. So let me get straight to the point. Take some time because this is really the most important video I've recorded on the subject that I'm asked the most. How to create real income monthly, month in, month out. And you probably heard of everything out there from e-com, social media, real estate, crypto, NFTs. Everything is on the table in 2022. And let me say, all of those can be a component. But you have to think about your income like a puzzle. In the 3 commandments of wealth. The first one is thou shalt not have only one stream of income. I'm actually here on one of my farms. I own about 1,300 acres of farmland that I've converted from conventional farming to organic, sustainable agriculture. And this farm here, you can see this is all log cabin. This is hand-built furniture by the Amish. The Amish manage, this is in the middle of an Amish community, and they manage the farm. An interesting thing, they're old school. The Amish go back to the 1500s, a religious group, and they're farmers. But they have like 17 forms of income. They have their cows, and they have chickens, and they do woodworking and put up barns, and they do produce and tomatoes, and each one of them is a different stream of income. So what I'm talking about now for the formula for 2022 is actually a timeless formula, but I need to bring it forward to you to what you can do now. You're probably not going to milk cows in 2022. Although if you do, that'd be great. The world needs more healthy food. So thou shalt never have one stream of income. 50 years ago, you could because companies were loyal. The world was in some ways more stable. You could get one job, come home, spend time with the kids, go back to work Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you had off, and boom, you got to retire a lot of times people retire at 58 years old, and boom, people don't even live as long. So it was good. But that's not going to be there for you and I. So we have to go actually back to the roots of modern culture, which is non-city agrarian mindset. Doesn't mean you have to be on a farm, but you need that mindset like these Amish farmers who have literally, some of them have 25 forms of income, especially if you count every crop as a different form of income, and that gives them diversification. So when I talk about e-com and crypto and this and that, you don't have to think which of those is the best. That's what people ask me. Which of them is the best? Is it real estate? Is it, I just posted a video Instagram where I showed one of my e-commerce stores doing over $100,000 in one day, 78,000 visitors to the website in one day, 850 boxes going down my warehouse. That's one stream of income. I own 8 big brands now. In the last years, if you've been following me, I've been buying big companies like Pier 1, one of the biggest home good furniture stores in the world. Radio Shack, buying some old distressed brands to bring back. Dress Barn, Steinmar. I bought Steinmar. I was doing $1 billion in revenue when I bought it. So I've been doing stuff a little bit on a bigger scale, but I don't want you to be discouraged and think, oh, what Ty's talking about right now just works on a big scale. No, I'm going to bring it to wherever you are, because I started my first business, teenager, Joel Salatin helping me, made $12,000 profit. I mean, in some ways it felt better than making $1 million now. So everything that I'm talking about can be scaled down or scaled up. Now, what I've done with my life and my income is created a massive diversification, more than you need now. I have, I actually use an app to keep track of my assets. And I'm not saying this in a bragging way, but I'm giving you maybe a target for you someday down the line to create something like this. And by the way, I learned this from books like this, The Millionaire Next Door, which is an exhaustive study of wealth in the United States. And many things are counterintuitive. And one of those is people will tell you completely you need to focus. You go to school, you get a degree, and you focus on that one thing. Well, when you look at the statistics of wealth, it's not created that way. So, but I'm still going to answer the question, because some people go, well, Ty, what is better to start out with? Do you start with real estate? Do you start with e-com? Do you start with a social media marketing agency? Do you start with affiliate marketing? Like, what do you do? So, I get thousands and tens of thousands of inbound questions, and I've compiled them in end of 2021, beginning of 2022, and kind of been sketching out what I call this 2022 formula. That if you follow, I've seen it over and over, take people from zero or from almost nothing or really from nothing to $2,500 a month or $25,000 a month. I've seen it. I have seen it. And, sometimes it's controversial because people go, oh, is this a get rich quick scheme? No, this isn't get rich. This is what wealthy people teach their kids that you and I, that didn't have wealthy parents, missed out on. Let me repeat that. This formula, with a few of my own twists, is exactly what wealthy people have been teaching their children from, by the way, from the pharaohs, from the Roman Empire, from the Rockefellers, from the Vanderbilts in the 1800s. This is what they've been teaching our kids. And for myself, and probably you didn't grow up with that background. That's why I got mentors. That's why, I read, is to make up and fill the gap. I was reading a nurse, deathbed hospice nurse, compiled the top regrets that people have on their deathbed. And believe it or not, it's your education is the number one global regret that people have. And the regret is simply they got an education that didn't put them in the career path and the income path that they wanted. That's Google it. Number one regret is education. So first thing I did, and part of the 2022 formula, number one, is you got to attach to the right people, which brings the right education on its own. Okay. Number two, you have to have an online presence. And you might say, Ty, I already know this. Well, this is going to get a little more advanced. Number three, physical products. This is different than 5 years ago. This is the decade of having physical products that you sell from your website, not just e-commerce, electronic goods, PDFs, ebooks, courses, and I love that, and I've done that, and I've done more revenue than almost anybody in the world in that space. So physical products need to become an add-on now, and I'll explain why in a second. Let me stop there. So online presence, this is a tricky one, because a lot of people think what I mean by online presence is go make an Instagram, a Facebook account, a TikTok, Snapchat. Like, no, everybody's doing that. Everybody's doing that. Remember how I said the 3 commandments of wealth? Well, commandment 1 is what? Have multiple streams of income. But commandment 2 is thou shalt not follow the crowd. As my second mentor, Alan Nation, the late Alan Nation, sadly died. Wisest guy I've ever met. He told me, if you tell your neighbor your idea and they like it, you're too late. He didn't say it's a good or bad idea. You're too late. So if you tell people you're going to go on and create an online presence on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, your neighbor's going to be like, yeah, what else is new? That means you're too late. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. There's many things you should do, even if you're late. I mean, you can find yourself at the end of your life having been in bad shape, eating bad food, never worked out. You could start at 60 or 70. It's not as good as starting at, 16 or 17, but point being, it's the same with social media. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying you're too late to make that the keystone, the anchor, the foundation of $2,500 to $25,000 a month, which is what I said this video is going to be about. So I'm going to live up to what I said. So the second commandment is thou shalt be early. Thou shalt not follow the crowd, so that thou can be early. So you got to ask yourself, what can you be early to? Now, you don't have to be the first, but you need to be in the first wave. And I'll talk about some things. And that's why I bring up this physical products, because there's a lot of people now that know how to use the internet and social media to generate revenue in things that were cutting edge in 2015 and 16, 17. But now as the world shifts and you study macro and microeconomics, money is chased by more competition and the saturation comes. And that's why if you look at Elon Musk, what did Elon Musk do? He went into things that very few people could follow him because, number 3, thou shalt go into businesses that have a barrier to entry. Or you could say it this way. Thou shalt go into businesses that have a moat. Remember a castle? They'd put a moat around it, water. They'd throw some crocodiles in it, piranhas, whatever it was in the stories. Why'd they do that? Because it was hard to capture that castle. So is it hard for somebody to compete with you and just make a Facebook or an Instagram or to pop up a quick website? No, that's not hard. Everybody's going to do that. What's your moat? What's the barrier to keeping people from flooding in and saturating what you're doing? You have none. And, part of why people who follow me are like, Ty, why do you keep doing kind of more complicated things? I'm like, because I have learned from my mentors. Now I'm lucky enough to have a couple mentors that are billionaires that I text with. I have a couple Nobel Prize winners. And they have solidified in my mind how these 3 commandments of wealth and this updated 2022 formula is like the gospel. Thou shalt not break these, because if you do, your wealth will be short-lived even if you make it. Let me repeat. You can violate these laws and make money for a very short period of time, but I'm going to tell you this. There ain't nothing worse than tasting wealth and then losing it. You might as well never be wealthy than taste that fruit temporarily. It will haunt you for the rest of your life. It is better to live a plain and simple life. I got nothing against it. I've been poor and I've been rich, and it's better to, you don't want to be poor. Nobody wants to be poor, but it's better to just stay with a decent financial kind of median than to get wealth and lose it. And that's been proven. There's 25 cognitive biases of the human brain. One's called the contrast bias. Daniel Kahneman won a Nobel Prize, and one of the things in economics that he talks about is you will experience more pain if you made $1 million and then drop down to 100,000, which you're still making 100,000. You experience more pain than somebody who went from making 50,000 to 60,000. They're happier. So as I go deeper in this, just remember this. Heed my words, because your brain, with the modern world with so much buzz and noise, like, oh, I saw a YouTube video that says what you're saying, Ty, isn't right. It's bullshit. Here's a better way. You could do, oh, okay. Elon Musk didn't violate the rules of wealth. He went multiple streams of income. He has PayPal. Okay, at the beginning. Then he began to build a more complex empire. Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City, Neuralink, the Boring Company. I mean, this guy is rolling out massive businesses on an ongoing basis, juggling many things, which goes against what people often say. Oh, just settle down, focus on one thing. Well, number 2, thou shalt get in early. He's building spaceships. That's pretty early. He's building, the satellite, what's it called? I forget the name. I'll remember a second. But not many people are doing that. He's bringing the internet. He just brought it to the Ukraine. So all of a sudden you go, the principles of wealth. Okay, that's Elon Musk. He's the richest man in the world. How can I bring that down to reality? And that's why I said the third one. Even when you bring it down to reality, to just make $2,500 or $10,000 a month or $25,000 Don't forget that third one. Thou shalt have a moat around your business. You know how hard it is to compete with Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Louis Vuitton or Mark Zuckerberg? It's very hard. So let's get a little more detail. I've written some other things down here in these 7 in the formula: logistics, fulfillment, recurring customers, increasing LTV, virality in a complicated world where everybody's trying to go viral. So here's what I would do on a real practical basis. Let's say I'm 18 years old. I'm starting all over, or whatever. I'm whatever age. I'm 60 years old and I'm starting from scratch and I don't have much money. This is what I'm doing right now on a practical basis. As quickly as possible, attaching myself to the right people. A rising tide raises all ships. So I might be doing that through reading 10 pages a day. You have to be reading 10 pages a day. You have to. Why? Because most people won't do it. So that's your moat. You're learning things faster than the average person. Remember, commandment number 3 of wealth, you have to have a moat. While reading 10 pages a day, and most people can't even read 10 sentences a day. So you got to build your discipline until you're reading. That's the simplest way to attach yourself to the right people. You might subscribe to a few YouTube channels. You might listen to a few new podcasts. You may be doing that already. I would try to attach myself at least to one person who really I attached myself to Joel Salatin at the beginning. He didn't know everything. You know, he wouldn't be the first to admit that. He wasn't a billionaire. You know, now he's a multimillionaire. But I had kind of one guiding person that, as I listened to others, was kind of the guiding light. So I'm attaching myself to 1, maybe 2 people that know what we're talking about. By the way, I'm not making this video to make you attached to me. I've done enough social media and have enough people following. I don't have to be more well-known. It's not the purpose of this video. I'm just taking down the path that I would recreate if I'm starting from scratch and trying to get to $2,500 to $25,000 a month. So number 2, online presence. So I got to get an online presence, but I can't violate the rules of the wealth commandments. So I got to get in early, okay, and it has to have a moat around it. So it's not as simple as just creating a social media account, because you're not early to building Instagram accounts. You're not early to become getting into TikTok. And it's easy for anybody to do. So I have to create an online presence that's harder, which is what I've done. I buy a huge company. I bought Pier 1 at an auction, you know, against Sycamore, one of the biggest private equity companies in the world. I paid $31 million. That's a moat, you know. Now, that's not applicable for you if you're starting out. It wasn't applicable to me starting out, but that's where I am now. So how do we create a micro version of that? Because building a Shopify store, building a ClickFunnels store, building a, you know, all these little WordPress site, this is old. Everybody's been doing this, you know. Now, that brings me to what I was talking about, physical products. Physical products are hard. They're hard. They're hard to sell online. You need I have a 500,000 square foot warehouse in Ohio, 1 in Arizona, 1 in Virginia. That's hard. But I like hard. And you should start to like hard. But at the same time, maybe it doesn't have to be hard for you. Remember I said if you attach to the right people? What if you attach to the right person who's already shipping physical products? See what I'm saying? So the whole dream, here's everybody's dream. Here's the dream wealth flow of income. Something super early, something super hard, something online, but something that someone else does all the work. There you go. I just gave you the formula. Then you might go, oh, that's BS. Like, okay, that doesn't even exist. Well, it doesn't exist that often, but it kind of exists. And I'll talk about that in a second. I wanted you to understand the underpinning, because if I got to the end before explaining what I'm explaining now, you wouldn't get it. It wouldn't work. You wouldn't pursue it correctly. So what business models out there are tricky? What business models take a lot of capital, so most people shy away from them? But if you're attached to the right person, maybe you use the capital they've already deployed. You see what I'm saying? That's what I did. My first business, Joel Salatin, did a farm business. grass-fed beef. Okay, that was hard. I was a teenager. Just to buy the cows was $60,000. Number two, you needed a farm. The farms at that time were going, let's say 5,000 an acre. I needed 100 acres. I needed 500,000 to start up, plus farm equipment, plus the fencing, plus the water, plus the cows. 600, 700,000. As a teenager, I remember I grew up, my dad was in prison. My mom was a single mom when I was young. When my stepdad, worked at the post office delivering mail. So 700 grand is off the table. But I attached myself to the right person. One guy owned the farm. His name was Duff. I'll never forget it, Duff Brown. I convinced him to rent the farm. He had already spent the big money to buy it. But I was like, can I use a little piece of it? So that's attaching myself to the right people. Joel Salatin already knew how to buy cows, and he had 60 grand. He wasn't super rich. And I was like, I'll split the money with you. See what I'm saying? All of a sudden, and by the way, talk about getting in early. I was doing grass-fed beef. Now everybody talks about grass-fed beef and how healthy it was. I was in there early, which helped me make a profit. There wasn't much competitor, and it was hard to follow me because there was a moat. But it was hard, but not hard for me as a teenager because I was attached to the right person. That's what I say. The 2022 formula is you got to do hard stuff. But if you're a beginner, the catch-22 is you don't want to do hard stuff because you don't have capital and you don't have experience to do the hard stuff. So it becomes more important. In 2022, if you want to hit 2,500 to 25,000, your most reliable way is to attach to the right person. Now, how can that look? So it's not just build a Shopify store. Okay? It's not just build a ClickFunnels funnel or whatever. There's a myriad of software, Wix and WordPress. People go, I'm just going to do that because there's billions of websites now. So you're not early, A, and it's not hard now. Shopify made it easy, which makes everybody go, see, that's great. Shopify, yeah, but it makes it easy for people to compete with you. Everybody wants to make $2,500 to $25,000. You think they're going to let you do it if they can do it? It's a dog-eat-dog world, as Will Durant says. One of the wisest, maybe the wisest person of the last 500 years, Will and Ariel Durant, husband and wife, won a Pulitzer Prize. He said, the second law of biology is that nature is competition. It will always be competition. Don't matter if you try to introduce Karl Marx, communism, socialism, or any variation in between. I've lived in Sweden, Denmark, the most quote-unquote utopian countries. They're still competitive because that's the law of biology. So the best way to compete is be a lion. But what if you weren't born a lion? What if you haven't grown into a full-grown lion? Attach yourself to a lion. Attach yourself to a damn lion in this business. Now, there's a few business models that you can do that have done this already, like network marketing is one. Okay? And that's not what this video is about, but I'm just giving you examples. The concept of network marketing is like you join a team. They're already doing well. You don't have that much money. You're attached to them. They give you the skills. They give you the physical products. Remember Amway. Remember all the Herbalife. It still exists. And they were doing physical products, which was hard. So they were shipping stuff out of warehouses, and they were manufacturing soap and blah, blah, blah. And so network marketing has been a traditional way that many people have attached themselves. But there's some problems with that. One of it is it's almost become, it violates, remember I said the 3 laws, it's become a little bit too easy. So I'm always out there, man, trying to be on the edge. I've been on the edge. I was one of the first people to do Google ads. So I was in the Facebook beta, Facebook ads. I was doing ads more than a decade ago when you just put an ad up, no targeting, didn't know what you were doing. Nobody was competing you. I remember the first time I did a Facebook ad, I went on a date with this woman in when I lived in West Hollywood. Hollywood and Vine, I lived right above Katsuya Sushi Restaurant. Still there. It's a cool place. I made $17,000. While I was on that date, came back 2 hours, 3 hours, made 17 G's. Because I was in Facebook ads early. So that's what I'm trying to tell you is like MLM, Facebook ads, you have to make the game more complicated, but I'm trying to make it easy for you because I could just record a video and say, if you want to make, $25,000 a month, do what I did, buy Pier 1 for $31 million, and now you're gonna, and buy Radio Shack and buy all this stuff, and you'll be making $100 million, revenue or whatever, do $25,000 in an hour. But that's not encouraging for you because that's hard. So that means it complies with the law of wealth. It's early because very few people know how to buy big brands. In fact, you could only do it during the last couple of years. And it's multiple streams of income. So that's what I was trying to say. The 3 laws of wealth are great, but they don't help the average person. That's why I have this add-on formula, the 2022. So, and by the way, the point of this video in many ways is just to kind of lay this out. This is almost like a podcast style. It's not like a 5-minute presentation, as you can tell. It's me, like, I want to be honest with you because I see a lot of stuff online that oversimplifies the dilemma. Now, I want to bring this around and make it simpler for you, okay? I do want to make it, but as Albert Einstein said, you should make things simple, but not simpler than they really are. That was Albert Einstein. He's like, it's good to make things simple, but if you oversimplify them, you do a disservice. So, as I said, how would I attach myself and get an online presence? MLM's away. I mean, if I was 18 years old again, I may join a network marketing company. Pretty simple. And when I'm 18, I don't need to make 25 grand a month. Don't have kids. You don't have all this responsibility, But maybe you're watching this and you have more responsibility. So you need to hit the damn thing and start making 2,500 and 25,000. So attaching the right people, online presence, physical products, logistics and fulfillment, virality, but not just virality from, TikTok dances, recurring customers, expanding LTV, that diverse income that's just diverse enough that you're not distracted, but because you can over diversify at the beginning. In the long term, if you look at Warren Buffett, you go to Wikipedia, he has 93, last time I counted, he has 93 forms of income. And I'm sure he has more, but listed, he has 93. But you can't start with 93. You need to start with a couple. Really shouldn't start with more than 1 or 2. But the goal is every 6 months, 12 months, you roll out a new one. So if I was starting out, I might do network marketing, to be honest, especially if I was 18. If I was 28 and I had more responsibilities, I'm not sure I would start with it. It might be one of my forms of income, but what I would start with is an online presence, selling physical products in type of physical products that are a little bit hard, because then I know I'm following the Elon Musk path, which always creates wealth. It's created wealth for centuries. As the book, The Millionaire Next Door says, the statistics are behind this. So what would I do if it wasn't network marketing? I'd probably go into e-com. And I would go in trying to sell something a little bit harder. Maybe it's furniture. Something that if somebody isn't really committed, they're not going to be able to do it. So that's the good news, because that's a space. I mean, I make money in that. We're talking a lot of money. I'm not talking about $1 million a year or $2 million. I'm talking about a lot. Let's just keep it at that. Tens and tens of millions of dollars. I'm an expert. I'm the CEO of Retail E-Commerce Ventures. You can go to my website and see, me and my Inner Circle investment group. I've dropped a lot, hundreds of millions of dollars invested in what I'm doing. Okay, so I could tell you this, no BS. Some people are like, oh, does Ty just make money by telling other people to make money? What are you talking about? Those people who don't know what I do. I'm the CEO of big company. I have hundreds of people that every day I manage. They work for me around the world. I have offices in Stockholm, Sweden, Denmark, Copenhagen, Denmark, London, Puerto Rico, Miami, Manhattan, Toronto, Pakistan, Cairo, Egypt. I've got a global company. We buy brands. We operate big brands. Now, again, I'm not telling you to brag. What I'm telling you is I've been at every stage of this game. I've been the 18-year-old with no money. I've been the e-com person doing dropship. I've done affiliate marketing. I remember I was just with books on Amazon, I was making $12,000 a month with no work. I would just post my book recommendations and get a check from Amazon. I've been an affiliate. You know, I've done real estate. Like I said, I've been buying up. I've bought 1,300 acres of prime. I like land. Real estate's diverse, you know. Some people like apartment buildings, multifamily. Some people like, you know, building single family homes. My specialty is buying land. Just bought a piece of land in Lubbock, Texas, 160 acres. Business partner flipped it, almost doubled our money almost overnight. When we closed the deal, we had already sold like 30% of the property at double the price. So I've done land flipping and this and that and that. And what I'm telling you is what I would go into is getting myself a website, selling physical products. I would have some digital products, but I'd have physical. I'd use what I know in virality to create traffic. I'd make sure it had a logistic fulfillment aspect that made it hard for people to follow me so I don't have 50 trillion competitors. Then I'd focus on long LTV, creating lifetime value. You can call it long-term value also, with recurring customers that come back. As Alan Nation told me, Ty, the first payment by a customer is usually the break-even point. So you need people who come back. And then I diversify from there. I would do real estate. I would do network marketing. I would do, you know, social media marketing agency. I would do all these things. But the thing is, right now, e-com is dominating the landscape. Shopify is basically, you know, it was just recently valued $170 billion company, because that, by the way, is more valuable than Shell Oil, than Goldman Sachs investment bank. I mean, it's just crazy. And so the reason it was so bad, now it's still like 80 billion or 70 billion valuation, is because the world's going, only 19% of the world shops online. Did you know that? That means you're early. Remember I said the 3 commandments of wealth? Thou shalt be early. Google it. 19% of commerce is done online. Over 80% is still brick and mortar, old school. But that'll flip. That 80-20 rule, right now the 80-20 rule is in your favor. Pareto principle. It's 20%, you know, 20% is online. 80 is brick and mortar. That's going to flip. And if you catch that flippening, like Jeff Bezos did, that's where, well, you might make a lot more than $2,500 to $25,000. So build that skill. Now, let me just say something, then I'll go back on a practical level. One of the things I've done a little bit, and I wanted to mention in this video, because it's as I've thought about recording this video, I was like, wait a sec. Not many people, I can't do this for everybody, but the best thing I could do is clone one of my websites, like Pier 1, which has 150,000 products on it. Clone it and give it to you, because it's hard to build a 150,000 SKU website. I have hundreds of people. First, you have to have a relationship with the vendors. We have owned inventory, meaning our own proprietary. We also have combined with drop ship. You need to have the warehouse. So you have to have the fulfillment team, the customer support team. You have to have the site merchandising. It's a big operation. I mean, the gift that I can hand you watching this is like, yo, I'll just give you a clone of Pier 1. You can operate this site. And when you get sales, we'll ship it out of our warehouses. We'll do the customer support. You know, we'll do this for you. Once a year, I really think hard, like, what would be the dream situation that I could give or offer to my followers that works? And it's not, by the way, sometimes people think, oh, Ty just trying to make money? Well, this is not this is like if I sold this to you, this is like less than 1% of my income. So I want you to know that this is my objective, or as objective as a human being can be, is saying, like, that's the best gift I could give you. Now, I haven't done it for the last couple of years simply because 2 reasons. One, the software is a little tricky, but and the reason I'm recording this video now is I've got a software competitor to Shopify, to WordPress, to Wix, to BigCommerce, to Magento, called Brahms coming out. It's my own software running our own websites, because the software that exists now, it can't work at scale. Shopify is not good when you have two. I think I have across all my brands: Steinmart, Dress Barn, Models, Franklin Mint, Radio Shack, Pier 1, Dress Barn. I think I have over 280,000 SKUs. That's hard to do, but I love it because very few people compete with me. In fact, you know who my main competitors are that I compete with every day? Walmart, Target, and Amazon. Walmart, Target, Amazon. There's a few others, obviously, Anthropology, and there are other ones, but I'm saying some of our vendors are like, Ty, you're a top. Sometimes we outsell Target or we outsell Walmart. So building that, like I said, my companies have dropped almost $250 million of capital to build this. That's all I was saying. The biggest gift I could give you is like, yo, here's a moat around this. Here's like physical products. Here's an online presence in a way that's super hard. You do not have to worry. Like, I think Instagram have 1 billion people on it. Well, there's not going to be 1 billion people doing this. It's just literally impossible. But if you're trying to make money on TikTok, doing dances and monetizing that, I'm like, every little person in every country that wants to do a dance is your competitor. I don't like that. Violates the rules of long-term wealth. Ask this guy. Read this book, Millionaire Next Door. Read The Intelligent Investor, written back in the 1920s, 30s. Some things don't change. So I thought, what I decided to do, it's impractical for me to do this for like 1 million people. But I was like, I'm gonna mention in this video, I'm going to do a beta program. Okay, I'm gonna do a beta program, and it'll work very simple, kind of the 1, 2, 3 formula. We'll build you a clone of one of our brands. Okay, by the way, we're the only one, we own the trademarks, so I can legally do this. I'm not a drop shipper of Pier 1. Like, I own Pier 1 legally. That's a public, you can see it. I own Model Sporting Goods. If you're from New York, you'll know it. I own Steinmart. The whole kit and caboodle, Radio Shack, United States, we have 500 licensed stores, physical stores, plus the online, plus we have the whole crypto side. So I have the power, and I'm the CEO. So I have the sole discretion to do this. So what I wanted to do, and of course I have my Ty Lopez education side, which I've had before. So I wanted to kind of merge these together and say, look, I'm going to give you the chance, if you want to, no pressure. If you think you have another way, better way to make money that follows, go for it. Like, I'm your biggest fan. I don't need any person's money. I like helping people. I've done it. I've helped more people create businesses from scratch than not to toot my horn, but I would go head to head with anybody on planet Earth, including universities, including anyone online, like practical. 60,000 people went through my SMMA. When I told people to go through that SMMA, I own the trademark on that now. So many people went through. I trained 60,000 business owners. It's insane. The testimonials are insane. In fact, a lot of people you see making money went through the big money people you see all over, a lot of them, almost every one of them went through one of my programs. It's crazy. And the only reason I say that, because it sounds like I'm bragging, and that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is give you confidence that my hunches as to where the world's going and what's the best thing to do in that given year, they work. They've done it. I started this my TyLopez.com education a decade ago. And I'm in it too. So it's like I'm having you follow where I'm going. That's what I mean by attached to the right people. So 1, 2, 3, I'm going to do a test group. I'm going to launch it. I'm going to build you out a clone of one of my websites. I'll give you some choice what you want to do. If you want home goods, you could do Pier 1, blah, 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 blah. If you want clothing, you could do Dress Barn, stuff like that. So you're going to start out with a lot of SKUs. Number two, my team will help you fulfill it, meaning the warehouse and all that, the logistics, that hard stuff. And then number three, I'm going to give you the education. TyLopez.com is going to not just, because a lot of people just build a shop. The average Shopify store, it just gets built and like, it doesn't work because, yeah, you have a store and you have like 7 products on it and you're like drop shipping from Alibaba and China, and now the supply chain's totally broken. You think that's going to work now? Come on. There's a lot of that dopey e-com stuff that people were teaching. I mean, it worked for a little while, but as I told you, what are the laws of wealth? If you violate them, thou shalt not make money for long. What I'm showing you is something that can make money for a long time because it's hard. It takes 100 million of capital invested into it, and I'll let you attach and I'll educate you on top of that, which when you get the combination of actually I give you a store that has 10,000 products on it with a full professional, I have hundreds of people that are building out the assortments, doing the manufacturing, logistics. If it's owned inventory, it's on our own warehouses. Sometimes we drop ship. Mostly it's drop shipped inside the US. You're not going to have to wait for something shipped from, Southeast Asia, which may or may not ever get here to the customer, especially with the modern supply chain, being what it is. I can give you a gift. Now, a couple things. Your job, and I'm going to educate you this with Ty Lopez, is to bring customers to the website. And it's your customer list. That's the cool thing. We're going to start you on some software over time. If you qualify, I'll move you over to my more advanced software, but we'll start you on some simple kind of Shopify type software with the SKUs that we have with our shipping app. Now, this is an initiative I'm doing that, to be honest, is going to help you more than it's going to help us. In the long term, it could be helpful for what I'm doing, but I committed a decade ago. I remember, when I first started making money, I was like, if I figure out how to make money, I'm going to pay it forward to other people. I've tried to do that with charity, tried to care, to not forget where I came from. And if I was 18 years old or 28 or 68, this would be a gift that would keep giving. Give me a real, not just a drop ship site, but a real store and you can pick the brand, but you're backed by the power of a major brand. Pier 1 is a major brand. 95% of America over 30 years old not only knows Pier 1, but has gone by stores, walked into a store. Same with Radio Shack, same with these Dress Barn in the Northeast. Models, it's like everybody in New York knows it for fitness equipment and clothing and all this, sports stuff. So I've got the brands. You're probably not going to want to drop 100 million to buy the brands. I can give you the power of the brands, give you the power of a website with the products in it. And, I'm not going to charge. I'm just going to basically pass on kind of the fees for you to build it, because it's like Joel Souch said, I don't mind helping a man, but I don't want him to drag his feet. Meaning, I want to know you're in it, but I don't want to make the price ridiculously. Like I said, I've dropped more than 100 million invested into what we're doing. I'm not going to charge you 100 million, obviously, but I'm going to basically give the best gift that I know, and that's like a real online presence in something that can't be saturated. That's physical products. That's hard for others to copy, but I'm going to make it not hard for you. That's the key. I said the dream is that you wake up in 2022 and you have a business that's super hard for a competitor to compete, but not hard for you because you're attached to the right person who's doing it all for you, or doing 90% of it. I'm going to do 90% of it. And then the 10% you have to do, I'm going to train you how to do that. I'll train you. It's not hard for me to train you. I'll show you how you can use, this is where TikTok and Instagram comes in, to do some social stuff where you can create virality around real products that are unique, that can be shipped right to people. I mean, we have products, we have people drop, we had the other day, Pier 1, somebody dropped $17,000 on furniture. It was someone in Michigan. It was a interior designer. So, and then we split the profit with you. So you bring somebody like that to your store, they shop on your store, they check out with $17,000. Think of that for a second. That's a lot of money. We split the profit on it. Now, depending on what we're shipping, your profit margins are going to be anywhere from 80%, fragrance, candles, stuff like that. Pure One, when I bought it, was a top 3 fragrance company in America, doing hundreds of millions in fragrance, candles, bath bombs, reed infused, all this kind of stuff. If you're doing furniture, margins are smaller, but the dollar amounts are higher. The cool thing is you're going to build, I'm not having you build my brand, because some people will let you do that and you're just an affiliate. See, the old school affiliate model, you would just do a whole bunch of work and send everybody to my Radio Shack website or my Pure One website. But then I own the customer. That's how Jeff Bezos got rich. People don't know. Sneaky way. He owns all the customers you send to Amazon. So yeah, you make money. Remember how I said, thou shalt not do things that make you money only for a short period of time. Being an affiliate for Amazon, and that's why I used to make 10 grand a month. I don't focus on it much anymore, but I didn't see it as a long-term presence because I was just building his business. You're going to have your own website. You build your own. Well, we'll build it for you, but you own the customer. And eventually, if you don't want to sell our stuff, you can take the SKUs off and sell whatever you want. See, I'm kickstarting you. I'm incubating you. I'm accelerating. One of the most famous incubators, have these incubators in San Francisco. And a lot of people got wealthy out of those because they were attached to the right people. And you go into an incubator, not obviously, I'm on a farm, so incubators like little chickens, but it's the same concept. You go into San Francisco and those companies that go through these big incubators produce people become billionaires or build billion-dollar unicorns all day long. So this is kind of like your online presence, e-com master incubator, masterclass incubator, because I'm going to give you the education, I'm going to give you the store, and I'm going to give you a team of hundreds of people that do the work, and you get to keep the customer. All you're responsible for is the marketing side. I'm going to show you how to do that. And we split the profit on the stuff that you sell. I'm not looking to do this. Look, it'll help my brands a little bit, but my brands do a lot of revenue. And I'm going to do a small beta group, beta test group, let you in. It's not going to move the needle on revenue for us, but it can move and transform your life. It's a realistic way that you could be doing $2,500 to $25,000 a month. Some people will figure out how to do it a day, $2,500 a day. I mean, I can pull up, let's see what one of my websites did yesterday. I don't always like to show this because then it intimidates people, but go here to Shopify. Let me turn my brightness down so you can see. Go here to Shopify. Go here to store. Go here to yesterday. Here's one. $91,350. $829 orders. 68,000 unique visitors. That's just one of my e-com websites. So it's not like I'm doing this because all of a sudden, it's going to move the needle so much for us, but I want to help you. And in the long term, one of my selfish reasons to do this is that a few of you will become really long-term partners. I mean, all of you. I hope everybody works out, but some people always get really into it and want to get huge, and that can eventually move the needle. So this is my kind of investing in you, planting a seed of and getting you realistically away. You could do $2,500 to $25,000 a month. I mean, that's really real. We have single orders that are, $2,500. Now, not all of that's profit. Remember, the downside of physical products, you got to ship it. There's costs and so on, but forget about that. I have this pen on my hand from holding it. Forget about that for a second, because that's not a downside. You're still moving volume. And remember, you're building a repeat customer. And you, because you're not as big as we are, I've got 10 million plus customers just at Pier 1, paying customers. You can build personal relationships with people, go in and do value ads, and you can get people spending more and more. You can build a referral program so they refer more people. So I'm giving you a real business. This is the best thing I've ever done for handing people a real business that follows all 3 wealth principles. You're getting in early. It's a diversification of income, because you're going to have thousands of products, they call them SKUs, on your website. Thousands of different products. So each one is like a diverse form of income. You're not just selling, ice cream cones or something, like with an ice cream stand. So that when winter comes, nobody wants ice cream. You're going to have a diversified business right within your website. And number 3, we're going to educate you. But the other wealth principle, there's a moat around it. Nobody's going to be able to copy this unless they come through this. I don't know of anything in the world you can do this. Go make a Shopify store. You can start out with 0 products. There's 0 help with warehouse. 0 help with fulfillment. 0 help with sourcing. 0 help with customer support. 0 help with, they'll help you a little bit with the software, barely. 0 help with teaching you the marketing virality. I'll show you how. So you're getting education, but more important, you're getting a store done for you. But lots of people promise they'll do an e-com store for you. Not like this. They're not putting thousands of products in there with warehouses right here in the good old USA, shipping out every day with 50-year-old brands supporting you. 100-year-old brands. Radio Shack's over 100 years old. Steinmart's from 1905, so it's 115 plus years, 117 years. Models that I owned is 1889. Okay. Pier 1 is 1968 brand, so over 50 years old. So's Dress Barn. So I'm here. We can build something real. You want to have a real shot at $2,500 to $25,000? Let's go. I'm going to put a link below. Go right here. Follow these steps. This is a definite limited thing. Why is it limited? Oh, it's definitely because I cannot do this at infinite scale, because I have hundreds of employees, but they're busy. I can only take a group. I've built a group that's going to manage this test group that I'm opening up today. And that test group will have, a team that's going to do this. We're not doing this for 10,000 people. Not even close. We're not going to do this. I mean, it's not going to be for thousands. I'm going to start it out real small. If you want to follow wealth principle number 1 and get in early, this is your chance to get in early. Go here, click the link. Now, in terms of pricing, why I'm pricing it there, when you click the link, you'll see, and you'll see all about the price. I want to explain something. Look, I thought about how to price this. Do I do this for free? The problem with free is I got a lot of costs to build out this for you. It's not that easy. I can't do it with one button. One day I'll figure out how to do it with one button, but I'm going to build where you're going to get something that what you're paying here is just the cost, my hard costs. Okay. So it's like Joel Salatin. I don't mind carrying a man, but I don't want him to drag his feet. Meaning, I don't mind helping you, but I don't want to lose money building you a website. And by the way, I challenge, if you want to test and go, no, I can do this on my own, good luck. You may be able to do it, but most fail. It's not that easy. I'm just going to tell you, as CEO, one of the biggest e-com companies in the United States, it ain't that easy. And any YouTube video or anybody guru teaching you and saying, oh, I can just make e-com work for you, I'm like, okay, let me see their revenue. There's a few out there, and some of them pursue stuff that's not going to work long term. So you might make some money for a week or a month or a year. But remember I said about tasting wealth and then losing it? That's a horrible thing. What I'm showing you how to do is something that's going to work for a decade. I'm doing it. I'm not stupid. I'm not doing something that's going to make me money for a month. I got too much riding on what I do. I got too much invested. So attaching yourself to what I'm doing is a great start. And by the way, if you're a cynical person, don't do it. I mean, I'm overjoyed at the cynicism of the world. I'm overjoyed. Do you think I mean, look, do you think I wish everybody listened to me? No, it'd create too much competition. I share what I'm doing freely. Half the world thinks, oh, that's a get rich quick and great. Sometimes people are like, Ty, why don't you argue back with people? Why? Don't argue with stupid people. Like Alan Nation said, Ty, don't try to teach a pig to fly. You can't do it, and bothers the pig. And it creates competition. I hope 99% of people who watch this video are like, oh, this is BS. Good. I transparently, it's funny, sometimes you can be so honest, nobody believes you, especially in the modern world. I've done it over and over. I went online in 2016. I remember I was in Palm Springs and I went online and I was like, you know the best way to make money in 2016? Make 10,000 a month real quick? Because I saw the inflection point. I was like, make a social media marketing agency. I'll teach you how. I put 40 hours of me and other people's teaching. Give me 4 months. Man, so many people. I just talked to a dude, called me. He's connected by one of my employees. He did 40 million last year. And he's like, Ty, I'll do anything you ever need for life. You took me, I was making $2,000 a month and going in your court. So I've already seen my stuff work. And back then, people were like, oh, this is a scam, or you should go to college. I'm like, well, some people should go to college. I'm okay with that. But we know how that $2 trillion of college debt's worked out for most people who got a degree in the wrong thing versus just learning a practical skill. Like, here, do marketing for businesses, and they'll write you checks all day long. First person who went in my beta program in 2016, I remember he called me and said, Ty, I have it was either $18,000 or $22,000 check, somewhere around 20 grand. He said, I've never had a bank account. He literally said, I live in my dad's basement in Chicago. I had to show him how to open it. I said, go to Bank of America and open up an account, because he's like, I have a check from a dentist or his cosmetic surgeon. That's what it was. And he's like, he paid me $22,000 up front to get him customers on social media ads. And I said, I told you this will work, my friend. You got it. He was in the first month. He's become a multimillionaire, before he's 30 years old. And I've said, by the way, that's not an isolated event. I was just in Denmark with a guy. His mom got on a FaceTime with me crying. She said, my son bought me a house when he was like 18. And he made $4 million net last year, cash in the bank after taxes. You know how much money you have to pay in taxes in Denmark? So I've seen this, and I'm telling you, this pilot program, this test group that I'm opening right now, in many ways, I mean, this is the crowning thing I've ever opened up. So go here, click the link. If you think you can do it on your own, go for it. You may come back to this video and in 6 months and be like, wait a second, I should have just listened to Ty. I'm not going to do it for free, but I'm not going to charge that much. Do the math. Do the math. This is cost. I don't know anything. This is 1/10 of what I should charge for this. I should really charge $50,000 to do this, because there's agencies all day long that'll charge you $50,000, and they're not going to set you up with a full fulfillment center with a 500,000 square foot warehouse that's going to ship out all the products for you, that a customer support that's going to handle everything, that's going to split the profit with with a major American brands. Never. They're not going to put thousands of SKUs and products up on your website on day one that aren't drop ship weird stuff coming from halfway around the world that'll get lost in the mail or be broken or have 8 month. Some of this stuff has 80 day, 90 day, 120 day, as much as 8 month shipping time, which makes your customers angry. I'm going to give you what I'm doing. I had 160 million American visits to my websites last year in Google Analytics. 160. It's hard to know exactly how much is unique, because even if people cookie it, Google Analytics is perfect. But I figure, say 50 million people. Okay. There's only about 250 million adult Americans. So it's like 1 out of 5 Americans. So I know how to build this. My team knows how to do it. It cost me $20 million just to build the team that I have. Got a diverse team in all time zones, smart people, sharp people, I've got people with, a lot of e-com experience. I have other people who worked and ran some of the biggest retail brands in America. So I'm going to just hand this to you on a platter. Click here, go here. If it says we've reached capacity, just go on the wait list. Probably, every 4 months we can open it back up. So just put your email, put your text in there on the wait list. If it's still open, get in there and put your heart into this. Give me 3 months. I'm not just giving you a store. I'm giving you the education on how to do it. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Me and my team are going to teach you how to do this. And remember, I'm incentivized if it works. Every time you get a sale, we're splitting the profit. So, and the split will be depending on the product. Sometimes the profit will be, the net profit or the gross profit will be like 50-50 on a lot. I'm happy to do 50-50, just certain products, depending on the cost, it might not be 50-50. So let's say we sell something for $100. We'll look at what the gross margins are. We'll look at what the fulfillment costs. I'm going to give you as much as I can. I'm not going to lose money, but I want you to be incentivized too. And it helps us, from the standpoint of move more product, which gives us more volume discounts when we buy from suppliers and all that. And my goal is 1% of people who go in this test program become major long-term partners. I hope, by the way, that I'm underestimating. I hope you and every single person who goes in here, but I just know how the law of numbers are. Not everybody. And some of you will just take this, and this will be a step. A lot of people have gone in my programs as a stepping stone, but this is a game changer. This is a game changer. This is the 2022 formula. This is the partnership with something. This is not network marketing, although I'm not against network marketing. This is not drop shipping like what most people do. This is real. This is real customers. This is a real legacy you can build yourself. This is not taught in any university. I'm teaching the University of Puerto Rico. Me and my business partner, Alex, are teaching the crypto blockchain, first university in Puerto Rico to do an MBA. Where I'm teaching it. I know what's taught at schools. I'm teaching the MBA program, University of Puerto Rico, and what I will show you one day, people will go, how in the world did you learn that? And you'll be like, well, good things happen when you attach to the right people. And it's not just me, by the way, it's this team that I have that's really going to show you a lot of stuff. And we don't know everything. Some stuff we'll learn from you. I hope so. Two-way street. So click here. Follow the instructions very carefully. Hopefully you're in before it fills up and it's just the wait list. Follow this very carefully. And I'm going to do a conference too. So you can come meet in person. Take the top people that are doing this. We make this into a massive big. And by the way, as a bonus, some of you all let go on my new software. We'll start you on something like Shopify, but I've got something in my pocket. My back pocket, I haven't even shared here yet. Don't have enough time in video, but it's another game. You need levels of game changers. That's how you go from making $25 a month to $2,500 to, $25,000 to $250,000 and keep adding a zero. You got to have many arrows in your quiver. And that's how business is. So there's a lot more I can talk about, but I need to go to bed. 2022, the wealth formula is here. You may need to listen to this again, but if not, click the link below. I hope to meet you in person soon.